right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the St. Louis podcast for June 23rd, 2023. And we're going to be talking shit about one of the franchises that made St. Louis who they are. St. Louis Bread Co., now known as Panera. I'm one of your glorious hosts. Garrett Atkins is missing again today. I think, are they chopping off his foot? Is that the surgery there? I forget if it's his arm or his foot. They're taking something. Go ahead and pray or, send him some wishes and some prayers in the DMs. And I'm alongside no one, just myself today, which will be fun. This is 3 weeks in a row, so please, again, if you're missing Garrett, which I know a lot of you probably aren't, just message me if you don't miss him and be like, hey, never get him back on again. We'll take that as some notes and we'll pass it up the chain. What else? So we got Mihika Nagpal, creator of the TheSTLGuide and Business Hour on the St. Louis podcast here today. We're going to get in the weeds with her and her business, but before we do, this is the St. Louis podcast where each and every Friday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, we drop an episode on all major podcasting, audio, and video platforms, where we meet with the most badass people and creators to talk about business, entrepreneurship, and current events. You can watch the show live or later on youtube.com/the St. Louis podcast, just like Matt Parker and Katie Baker are right behind us. Thank you for joining us today. What else do we got? So yeah, let's jump into it, Mihika.
All right.
Let's go ahead and give you a real quick bio, and then we'll jump into why we hate Panera. Creator of the TheSTLGuide and the Business Hour, excuse me.
You got it.
Model, entrepreneur, and singer. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
And so we were talking a little bit beforehand about some stuff that we wanted to discuss. We're going to talk about some good stuff. People scared to go downtown. Why Panera sucks now. Actually, let's just talk about Panera right now because I need to get this off my chest. So it's like the networking king of all places in St. Louis. Everyone wants to go to Bread Co. and network. And I don't know why. The reason being is you go in there and I just paid $15 for a sandwich. It was the baguette sandwich. What was it? The smoked chicken, barbecue chicken, buffalo chicken, whatever the hell it was. And this thing was half a baguette and 2 ounces of chicken on it with, a couple slices of onion and a little bit of cheese. What am I paying for? Where did we go wrong?
I honestly, and I made this analogy just a minute ago. It's just how SZA doesn't claim St. Louis. St. Louis no longer claims Panera. I claimed St. Louis Bread Co. We are so far away from that now, and I'm just not here for it. I'm not here for it.
I'm not either. They sold out to a private equity group a couple years ago. I actually used to work there when I was in college. And that was when it was heat.
That's when the hatred started.
10 years.
I just feel like you went to a party there at some point, a clown did something bad to you, and now you have these repressed memories that you're trying to get out here. And we are not...
Okay, sorry, you're right. You're not...
I have a serious question for you.
Yes.
I have never once networked with someone at Panera.
Really?
Who are you networking with?
That's like... So I go to a lot of networking groups. People want to meet there all the time.
I have never once
stuff.
in my life.
So where do people ask you to go? Starbucks?
The business hour that I run.
Okay, fair enough.
Shameless plug.
Fair enough. All right, well, now that you told us about the business hour, so tell us a little bit about the TheSTLGuide, the business hour. Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the TheSTLGuide is an up-and-coming app. It'll be a happy hour locator. So it will show you happy hours from your current location in a 1, 5, and 10-mile radius.
Nice.
Eventually, we'll expand outside of St. Louis, but this is my home. So, got to show it some love.
Yep.
Some hate right there. And then, from there, I actually used to be an event producer. So we've branched out a little bit. We're actually throwing a benefit concert for Stray Rescue June 24th and doing a summer series to benefit local charities. So still a lot of events in the mix, but the business hour is kind of just close to home. You guys have your podcasts, you bring in cool speakers. We do the same, just in person. I think a lot of networking groups, and this is no shade, but can be a little bit serious. And I kind of wanted something more relaxed to meet more like-minded people. So we do a 1-hour happy hour, and then I run a business skills workshop. We've done stuff like leadership excellence, having tough conversations, and then have had great speakers like Aaron from Arch Apparel, Jason Bachman. We have Zach Conley coming up this year. A lot of really great local entrepreneurs who've done their part to make the city what it is.
Do you do that? Is that a weekly or monthly thing?
It is a monthly
Okay.
thing, but I would like to start expanding out once I get a couple more interns on board to
Sure.
help out because I'm a one-woman show.
Okay. So you looking for summer interns?
Yeah, shameless plug.
Hey. If any of you listeners have a kid or your friends have kids that need a summer intern, please
Yeah.
feel free to email the podcast or
You can
DM her page.
Mihika at TheSTLGuide.com.
There we go. There we go.
Shocker.
All right. So STL Guide Business Hour. What were you doing beforehand? How'd
So-
you transition into this?
I owned a social media marketing company.
Okay.
And I actually worked in nightlife for a long time.
Okay.
And I like to go to bed at 10 p.m.
Mhm.
But, you know, I still have always had a passion for like what's what in St. Louis and making sure people are informed. So that's kind of where the idea came from. I go, how can I still show people how to have a good time, but not have to be awake until 4 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of born out of necessity, but I travel a lot.
Okay.
So just thinking about different ideas of, okay, what do I need when I travel? I think the best business ideas come from a needs-based
Yes.
idea. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm always looking for a happy hour.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be at dinner. We're looking for somewhere to go. And no shade to Yelp and Google and all that, but it's just not an easy to use format. You have to go in and out. So really, we're trying to eliminate all the back and forth and make it an easy user-generated experience for not only the businesses that are signing up, but also for the customers that are using it.
Sure. So with the app, are businesses going to pay to be on there for sponsorships? Okay.
Yeah, so no advertising. It
Okay.
will be like a subscription-based model.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so businesses sign up, free to users.
Okay. Got it. Very
Because
nice.
I would be pissed if I was at a bar and there was QR code looking for happy hour and you tried to charge me $2.
Yeah.
I would literally not do it. I would be so mad.
People don't understand. I don't want to pay even 25 cents for an app. I don't care.
No, I don't.
You're collecting data off me. Give me that for free.
Exactly.
Seriously.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully, I've been looking into some new AI
Mm-hmm. I was going to ask.
stuff. Yes, big AI girl. ChatGPT is the homie.
Yep.
Does all my emails.
Nice.
I love it. I'm not like against it in any way. I think, if you don't get with the technology is going to leave you behind.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you're not willing to put in the time and effort, then I don't know what to tell you when you get left in the dust, because it's really just a powerful tool if you can mold it to what you need.
Have you been able to prompt it and give you good results for like happy hours and things here in St. Louis? Or are you having to do a lot of like cold outreach to businesses and be like,
Cold outreach?
because usually happy hours, I don't know why, maybe you know this, they're not advertised.
No, they're not.
I don't know why.
They're literally not.
That's the one thing I want to know. Is so if you're like, it's usually 4 to 6, right?
Yeah.
4 to 6 o'clock.
There's places that do like date. I used to go to this happy hour in college. It was from 12 to 5 and it was a reverse happy hour.
Where are these?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And like businesses just don't market them, and maybe
Yeah.
they don't know how. And Instagram is just so full of content.
Mhm.
Yelp is very much pay to play.
Yep.
And my big thing is I'm very passionate about helping mom and pops, and that's why I got in social media marketing initially and stepped away from that, because I find so much more value in giving a level playing field to the bigger conglomerations and the small mom and pops.
Yep.
It's how do we give everyone a level playing field and actually make it something that I would use. It's all alphabetical. Like, I do not care if you offer me $10,000. Okay, I might care a little bit, but like versus what the standard subscription is.
Sure.
You are not getting placed above anybody else.
Sure.
It shouldn't. Like some places have better food.
Yeah. Are you going to be able to leave reviews?
Eventually, yes.
Okay.
Not in the initial
Okay.
model, because I want to get the first one out, get the kinks out.
Sure. And you got to get businesses to sign up before people start hating on those businesses in
If
your
you're
app.
interested, if you're interested, preemptive, we're looking at a September launch.
There we go.
Yeah.
So is this only for like the restaurant or events happy hour? Is it also like for events? Like there's networking. So say, for example, last Friday, I was going over to Garrett's house at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I wanted an excuse to be out of his house at 3. So I was like, give me a happy hour I need to hit by 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
I couldn't find any happy hours. This is kind of a joke, Garrett, by the way. Kind of.
No, it's not.
There was not any happy hours though. I guess on Friday?
Yeah, it's hard to find Friday happy hours, but there
That's
are.
the best day for happy hour.
Yeah, but like places like Sasha's on Shaw, they do late night happy hours starting at like 9 p.m.
That was my next question. It's like I go from 4 to 6. I need that late happy hour.
Yeah, there's a ton of places in St. Louis. Sasha's is one. And then there's days, like there's different restaurants that do day of the week happy hours as well. I know Sports and Social has a great ladies night happy hour. You don't need to be a lady to attend. But like half off wine bottles.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, it's stuff like that I think are really, really great for the community. But
Wait, is wine for females now?
No, but it is ladies' night.
Okay.
Technically,
You
it's
say-
ladies' night.
Matt's like, yes.
Oh, you should.
Bud Light or whiskey? Or actually, no, sorry. Miller Light or whiskey now, right? We're off Bud Light.
You can drink.
Whoa. No, it's just straight hard liquor.
Yeah.
Get some gin, whiskey, tequila. I don't care what it is. No beer.
No, what was it? Like there was a phase in college we did like tequila and wine. Don't do it to yourself.
Oh my
Don't do it to yourself.
Mixed together?
No. You start with the wine, you move to tequila. Just don't do it to
my
yourself.
God.
Don't do it to yourself.
Oh my God. Who told you that? Someone's older sister.
20-year-old
brother.
me
Yeah,
told
definitely is.
me that. Now I like literally I don't even leave my house that much anymore. I was just doing laundry the other night. I had one glass of wine. I woke up the next morning.
You're like, ow.
I literally was in pain until like 11 o'clock. I was like, is this old age?
That's
Do
why
I see the light?
you got to go to vodka. I think that's what everyone.
No, tequila.
That no.
Shout tequila.
Tequila. I don't know what it is about tequila. I actually listened to what's the podcast? The two comedians. They literally drink every podcast. Mark Norman and someone else. Anyways, so they were talking about how tequila, they don't get hangovers.
Yeah, because tequila, and thank you over to my friends at Una Vida that put me through a class
There we go.
on learning about it. It is a probiotic.
Okay.
It's also the healthiest alcohol for you
Okay.
because of how it's made. So 10 out of 10 recommend.
Mm.
If you stick to only tequila and 100% agave tequila, that's all you drink, you will most likely not have a hangover. And I'm not going to take the chance and say 100% because you're going to blame me. if you
Yeah, I
do.
was gonna say, what am I doing Saturday? I'm gonna put that to the test.
You're coming to a benefit concert at Midwestern to benefit Stray Rescue.
is that the you said the 23rd?
24th. It's from 11 to 4:30.
Mark it down.
Mark
Katie,
it.
mark it down.
I'll get you a
At the
flyer.
Midwestern.
Yeah.
I'll bring some guys.
I'm also.
I never go down there, but a
It's-
bunch of my friends still go down there
Yeah.
all the time.
I actually really enjoy it, and they have the bottomless mimosas during the day on the weekend,
Nice.
which is always just a good time if I left my house. Like,
Why don't you leave your house?
I work a lot
At your house.
at my house. I love my house. I love my dog. It's funny because in college you're like, I was definitely a lot more outgoing, and then as I left college I was like, I'm really an introvert. Like I'm really like I can be outgoing still, but recognizing that you just recharge and right now in development process and working a ton, I just value a lot of rest now at my age.
That's fair.
I value rest.
At your age. How old are you?
27.
Okay. At
feel
my age.
I feel internally like I'm 67 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so right when you started, I guess 2 separate companies, correct?
2 separate companies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's those, and then initially had my social media marketing firm as well.
So how long did it take you to build up what you have now? And I'm assuming you no longer make any money from the social media marketing agency.
No, because I walked away from it. Honestly,
Okay.
a lot of and I do work full time, so that is just completely
Sure,
external. So
sure.
it's like having 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah.
And then managing myself as an artist and all of that. So really a lot of energy is already expunged during my week. Every other Sunday I sleep for 24 hours straight. It's a really fun
Nice.
time.
Nice.
Yeah. So tequila doesn't really contribute to getting work done. It might sometimes, but
There's some of those nights, you need something.
wine.
You're like, I can't think of a solution to this problem. Maybe a little tequila will give me a little birdie to whisper in my ear.
Yes.
Give me a secret to
Yes.
use.
Or go for a run.
Right, exactly. So, okay. So, obviously, STL Guide Business Hour makes up how you live. So,
Yep.
correct? So, how long did it take you to really build those companies to where you're like, I can sustain off of these things, and this is my livelihood?
Well, and that's the thing for me right now is I'm still developing.
Mhm,
So
okay.
I work full time to pay for the app and have investors in the app.
Okay, so you actually have a full-time job
I
still.
do have a
Okay,
full-time job.
Okay.
And I think people forget that sometimes because I'm always running around. People are like, where is she? What does she do? I go, a little bit of everything.
Sure.
So, that takes up, and I work as an operations manager, which is pretty time consuming.
Okay,
So
yep.
that takes up the majority of my daytime. And then we're at the point where the development process is almost done. So it's
Okay.
not in a bad way. It's been like a little leech
Mhm.
for the last 2 years because I actually have scrapped the app twice now because I hated it. And I was like, this is not something I would use. So getting it to the point where it is now, I'm like, okay, I'm finally okay. We're about to release this.
Yeah.
I'm getting happy with the product, but that was a hard decision to make. Is you poured a lot of time, energy, effort, and money into something, and you're like, this isn't
working.
right. And with technology changing so frequently, what's available changing so frequently, I think coming out of COVID, we needed something slightly different than what we do now because now we're in an open world. Like
Yep.
there's more business opportunities. Initially, it wasn't just happy hours. It was just a locator that would show you everything. But we've really honed into that niche because you can't do everything.
Sure. There was an app back when I was at Mizzou, and it showed, I think, like
Yeah.
the drink specials at bars.
Yeah.
I forget what the name of that. It's definitely not around anymore.
No.
I want to say it was just called like Nightlife.
There's a few of those, and I think that's
I don't know why they didn't stay around though.
yeah.
They just didn't monetize it, and obviously,
Yeah.
I mean, you're not
I
making
think
any
a
money.
lot
Why
of
you gotta keep
times
it going?
what those apps do, and I did a lot of research and between scrapping ideas,
Sure.
which gave a lot of people a lot of anxiety, including myself. And a lot of times I feel like those companies focus on what their events are and things like that rather than expanding it. And that's where I was like, okay, I come from the event background, but we want to make it level. Like the reason a lot of Yelp and all of that stuff isn't great is because people are paying to play.
Yeah.
So it's not showing you what the actual reality looks like.
They hide reviews on Yelp too.
They do. And you can pay a lot of money to do that.
Uh-huh.
And that's where I'm just like, I'm a very no bullshit, no strings attached type of person. And I like things plain and simple and laid out. So, and there's a lot of people who are like that. And that's where like the first idea was scrapped into the second into the third.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, there's no reason to hide information
Sure.
at the U.S. government.
Yeah, right. So restaurants, do you have, before you started the STL Guide, did you go out and talk to restaurants and be like, has anybody approached you? Has this been done? Have you tried this in the past? What are your thoughts? Why do you guys not advertise this?
I'm still doing that a lot.
Okay.
Like I will just walk into businesses. I could clearly talk to a wall. And, I shake a lot of hands and I meet a lot of people and I ask them, like I asked a lot of business owners, I did focus groups. I asked a lot of users, like what would make this something that would benefit you? I think it's easy to see it from our end, but it's also like essentially the business will have like an Instagram page that they can just go update and add widgets and adjust their page without me ever having to go touch it for a subscription fee. That's really different from how Yelp does it.
Yes.
And like you can customize. Do you want open table integration? Cool. If you don't, cool. You want them to call? Go ahead. You want to make your bio something silly? Go for it. Like this is your page to do what you want with. There's no regulation. Almost like Reddit.
Yes. I like that. Hey, that's a great lead in.
Yeah.
I don't have the story pulled up, but essentially what's been going on at Reddit. Matt, feel free to hop in here if you got any useful intel for us. But so Reddit, it really started as like a community-based board. And you'd go in and you'd create essentially subboards, which are called subreddits. So, for example, St. Louis has their own subreddit. So it's only St. Louis news. It's actually a pretty interesting follow if you guys ever go on there. They got some good stuff. Sometimes dealing with shit that we talked about earlier with the 17-year-old getting shot or whatever happened this weekend. Which is, we'll get into why people are scared of going downtown here in a second. But with the Reddit thing, so you essentially have moderators. These moderators are unpaid, but they're supposed to be moderating these boards. Really, the argument is that a lot of these moderators do it just for personal fame. Now, I don't know if that necessarily makes sense because their usernames are not like their personal names. No one puts, it's not like I don't know. So I heard that and I was like, that's stupid. So they started so essentially the problem is Spez, or the CEO, I forget what his actual name is, Steve something, but his username on Reddit, Spez. There's third-party applications. Yeah. So you have like Apollo. You have Reddit is fun. Mm-hmm. I use Reddit is fun. I've used Reddit is fun for like 10 years to access Reddit now. Wow. So now what they're doing is they're essentially outlawing third-party apps because they're going to make the API token integration to pull the data from Reddit. Mm-hmm. That, keep in mind, everything that gets uploaded onto Reddit is free. It's by a user. They don't expect to make any money from that ever. I mean, obviously you can throw in some bullshit in the comments or something to get a link, but it's all user-generated content. So at the end of the day, all Reddit does is just hold the technology for the boards, which is so they started shutting, it was a whole thing. The moderators started shutting down boards. Mm-hmm. So you go to, there was a ton of them. Videos, for example, I still think that's shut down. So a lot of these boards, you just can't go in there now. The whole community is dead, essentially. The info's there, but they have a door there and it's locked. Right. So what they started doing a couple days ago was removing those moderators, putting moderators into positions that they were going to be able to control. And then what they did was they were like, all right, if you guys want us to open up these boards again, we're not going to, essentially, the rules that every single, different subreddit has is different depending on the subreddit. Yeah. Reddit's rules are pretty blanket. It's like, a lot of stuff goes. So now what's happened is they'd opened up all the subreddits and now they're just allowing nudity, profanity, anything that an advertiser would absolutely hate is now on the front page of Reddit. So you have essentially the whole user base and essentially everyone that really runs this for you going against the corporation, which is hilarious. I don't know how this plays out.
I am really interested to see how it plays out because you already know that this is backfiring for them. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be like PR statements and ways that they're going to try to like regain control back. And I think it's really just going to be, the death of it.
Well, I just don't know fine, on the desktop, I'll still go to Reddit, but like I won't use the Reddit app. It's literally terrible. Yeah. So if I'm not going to be able to use, and also people have used these apps for like 10 years.
It's like Tumblr all over again.
Yeah. I just imagine using an app for like 10 years, like for the most part, same user interface, and then that thing is just gone from you. Yeah. It's like an integral part of your life.
I mean, if you look at it though, like look at all these like apps that have died out. Mm-hmm. Like MySpace, Tumblr, Facebook for the most part, I think more with our generation than the other. Facebook has a lot of capabilities that just aren't utilized because everyone's on Instagram and TikTok. But I mean, I think a lot of times businesses make these decisions not realizing how much it's going to affect their user base. Mm-hmm. And once you lose that trust, it's not coming back.
No, it's not. I think they were going to try an IPO this year, which is why they were reining in everyone. They were like, well, if you're going, if we're going to IPO this year, if we're going to be a public offering, then we need to make sure we're, closing essentially the doors where we're losing potentially a lot of money. But at the end of the day, they're going to lose a lot more by making the move that they did.
They did lose. I'm calling it Reddit Gate.
Yep. I like that.
We're going down.
I like that.
I mean, it's true.
Talking about Pizzagate? No, I'm just kidding.
Pizzagate, Reddit Gate. I mean, weigh your options here. But no, I think they've lost the credibility. I think they've lost the trust, and they've kicked themselves in the foot. Yeah, and
I'm assuming that Steve, the CEO, is going to step down, and they'll bring him back because they did this.
Bets on how soon?
Yeah, they did this. They did this like 5 or 6 years ago when they went in. They kind of cleaned it up for advertisers. They got rid of like Watch People Die, for example, was like a subreddit, like gore subreddits. I'm going to hell for this. A bunch of stuff that was, again, not advertiser friendly. They went in and they removed, and they had Ellen Powell that they moved in as the CEO. She made these moves. Everyone hated her. They kicked her out. But the whole reason they brought her in was so she could take the brunt of the bullshit. Yeah. And then they moved the founder back into the CEO role.
Yeah. I mean, that happens more often than you think. It's all played out.
Yep.
Well, Steve has his feelings hurt because he had that Ask Me Anything last week or whenever it was.
It was last week, yeah.
And he felt so much hatred and anger from these people, and he didn't understand why. So he's probably crying right now, and he might step down.
Yeah.
But
well, there's also a thing. Let's all hate Steve, the CEO of Reddit. Apparently, This is, or what's the word you use so you don't get sued? Not apparently.
What are you looking for? Like,
Yeah, give us.
All right,
let's play a word relation game.
Apparently, one of the subreddits that Spez, the CEO of Reddit, Steve, was a moderator on for a long period of time was underage females subreddit, where
allegedly
allegedly. Thank you.
Okay.
Steve was allegedly in charge of moderating this subreddit, and it was all underage females. And this is actually allegedly. You can find this by, just going onto Google and making a simple search.
It's like when in court they were talking about TikTok, and all the men were like, "Well, it's all just like young girls dancing."
Yes,
I go,
that's what you're watching.
because that's what the algorithm is showing you, because that's what you watch. You're literally just outing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah, let's please.
Yes.
Who allowed these ancient fossils to get a little bit of information and go on there and try to describe to people how TikTok works? The questions
Wait,
they
who
asked.
are you talking about? What are you talking about right now?
Whenever they had the CEO come on and they actually talked to him, the questions they asked made me dumber as a person.
I would agree with that statement. I would absolutely agree with that statement. But it's literally like, it just shows how little they understand, because they don't understand that the algorithm is literally showing them that, because that's the content they're looking for.
Well, it's the same thing with YouTube. You watch dog videos for a couple hours, you're going to start getting a lot of dog videos unrecommended. I mean, yeah, that's
that you're outing me.
like it's so simple. It's so simple. Yeah. I mean, Instagram is the same way. You follow a bunch of chicks. That's all. You go to the search tab. That's how I know what kind of man you are. I click that search tab. I'm like, oh, you're a dirty boy.
All I need to see is someone's explore page to
right.
decide what kind of human being they are. That's all I need.
Mine's all suits, hiking, clothes, outdoors, and maybe like one chick mixed into the mix of like 100 photos.
Dog video.
Oh, that's a lie.
Animals of
Everything
different
you
kinds
said
being
is a
friends.
lie.
Everything I said's a lie. You're going to make me pull it up to prove?
Yeah, I feel like we
Throw it
need
on the screen.
animals of different kinds being friends. Gets me every time. Lots of chocolate. Lots of outdoor stuff.
Chocolate.
I love chocolate. Like
Really?
I like.
So what does chocolate content look like?
I have like this weird thing where I can't fall asleep unless I watch like Instagram reels or TikTok videos of cooking, and something about something about watching people bake is very relaxing to me.
Interesting.
So I need like a couple of minutes of that to unwind at night.
You know why?
Why?
You like operations, don't you?
Yeah.
So you like
Systematic.
you like systems.
Me, analytical and
Yes.
systematic?
Yes.
Never.
Yes.
No, that's
now
it.
that makes sense. Yeah, you
Yeah.
like systems. So you're
I
like,
like systems. I like
wait,
systems.
that looks like a little bit too much baking soda. Let's see how this ends up.
Right. Like, it's just so relaxing to me to watch cooking videos. Like, my entire For You on TikTok is just chef after chef after chef, and then dog, then chef, then another dog, then duck and dog being friends. Like, that's the whole thing.
I like Guga Foods. You know who that is?
No, but I'm really gonna have to find
You
them.
can look up Guga Foods. He's huge, but he talks a lot about steak. I'm a big
Okay.
steak guy, so I
Yeah.
try and eat steak like literally.
I
every
really
day.
don't discriminate against food unless it's peas.
That's fair.
Yeah,
What's wrong
that's
with
a-
peas?
I don't know. It's a texture thing.
It's so you like quinoa though?
Yeah, it's just peas.
Just peas.
It's
Is there
just.
any other small circular?
I like corn. I get that one a lot.
Wait, you like? But
It's just peas.
Have you ever put butter and pepper on peas?
Yeah. I don't know. It's a texture thing.
Huh.
It's weird. It doesn't make sense to me either.
Did you say butter and pepper on peas? Now, what's wrong with you? Well,
That's the best way to eat.
I would.
That's
there's
the best way to eat vegetables.
There's
is
no
butter and,
best way to eat peas.
I mean, I don't disagree. I'm not a big fan of peas. My mom used to make all the time as a child tuna casserole, and it was tuna. Everyone right now is like, what? It's actually. Hey, shout out, Mom. Yeah, they're mean right now. I like your tuna casserole. All right.
I would eat it.
It's not that bad. Katie's like, give me a trash can. It was peas, tuna, fettuccine, and fettuccine. She's like, ugh.
She's like, no. I would eat it. I would probably pick out the peas, but I'd eat it.
Yeah. No, eventually I told my mom, you need to start putting the peas on the side because this is some bullshit. And that's what happened. That's what
like,
happened.
I'm not gonna like throw up if I eat it, but I just, I'm never gonna go somewhere. Like, if someone had to put like a bowl of peas in front of me, I'd be offended.
That's disgusting.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
just a big bowl of peas. That sounds gross.
Disrespectful.
Is
That
it like a
is.
Stockholm syndrome thing where like she forced you to eat as a child and now as a grown
I don't
man?
not like peas. I'm like,
No,
they're okay.
I honestly think that might be what it was. I actually didn't try broccoli for a long time because my uncle took me to this like buffet and would not let me eat until I ate my broccoli. And I didn't touch broccoli for like 10 years, and now I eat broccoli every day. I had broccoli for lunch today. We're homies.
When are boomers gonna realize they fucked up everything they
Never.
taught us?
Never.
They're like, we're
Got
gonna force
milk?
you to eat this food.
Got milk?
Yeah, got milk. You remember that one?
Yeah, I
that
do.
was good.
I do.
Well, so who was behind that? Obviously the
Milk
the big
industry.
Milk? Who's behind Big Milk though?
we
Prairie
need to-
Farms? Who the hell? Where's the CEO of Prairie Farms? Get him out
I don't
of
know. I don't know, but I think he needs a little call out.
here. That's right.
The fact that like majority of Americans are lactose intolerant, but now we have an opposite push going towards plant-based milks, and there's just like a whole nother issue there with
What's
like
wrong with almond milk?
there's like
Almond?
isn't there like a whole thing about like almond farming and how unethical it is, and that there's a lot of issues with it. Same with avocados.
I don't know.
Not to go back to it, but you want to blame Silverstone and Partners, who officially came up with Got Milk, so you can direct your hate to
Is
them.
that a marketing?
I see you.
That's definitely private equity, is it not? Holding
That is
company?
Jeff Goodby and Rich Silverson, and it is some kind of advertising agency.
Yep.
Okay.
Boom. That's a nice account. All right,
Boo.
listen. We need to sell more milk. Got milk, dude. There's the commission check, $10 million.
So do you remember that every celebrity
Absolutely.
had the little stupid milk mustache?
Yeah, it was all over our schools when we
Yeah,
when we were in school.
everywhere. It was everywhere. Like I just remember every single celebrity is one of those ads. My mom's like, they drink milk. I'm like, I don't want it. Turns out I've been lactose intolerant my whole life.
Well, you know what? You said that. You know what's funny? I just became lactose intolerant.
Or maybe became
Like
aware.
I've been fine my whole life on like ice cream,
Yeah.
anything like that. But I went a couple weeks ago and I got ice cream at Dairy Queen. I got a cookie dough because that's the best ice cream. Fight me. And you're like, meh.
Mid.
That's a mid ice cream. And I was laid on the ground like a couple hours after I ate it, and like my stomach, like my intestines felt like they were turning in my body.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, I've never had this problem. And then I had ice cream again, like actually last week. Felt like shit again. I was like,
Yeah. Well, that's actually pretty common. I don't know how old you are, but like usually upper 20s, like you can actually develop new food allergies.
30. I'm 30 in July next month. Yeah.
Damn, he's old.
I know.
But yeah, no, you can like I've seen it happen to a lot of my friends. You can develop a lot of food allergies later in life. I don't know why. I had a friend who ate like soy every day, and now she's like deathly allergic to soy.
Well, soy's not good for you, I thought, like in general.
Nah, I think it kind of depends. And this is, I put myself through college as a nutritionist and personal trainer.
Yes, please tell us.
I will not take on a nutrition client. I don't do it anymore, but unless you've done like allergen testing.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I literally
Yep.
knew somebody who ate eggs every day. She's like, why am I bloated all the time? Allergic to eggs. Like I cannot in good conscience write you a program if you don't know what's going on with your own body.
Where do you send people to get that done?
I haven't in a long time, but you can literally just Google like stool tests and like
Okay.
you can literally just Google it, and there's a million places that
So
pop
you
up.
actually, what do you poop in a bag?
Yeah,
Ship
a box, yeah. And you ship it in, and they tell you like your bacteria levels, if you have good health, gut health, like different like probiotics that would probably be beneficial for you.
Interesting.
Gut health is mental health.
It is. It
It
is.
is.
The gut brain biome, right? Or whatever the
Yeah.
hell they call it.
Yeah. There's also, I was listening to a podcast. I can't even remember who it was, but it was Jay Shetty's, and they were talking about like RNA testing and stuff like that, and how they can
Yeah.
like just do it through like your gene testing.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll have to send it over to you. I actually just started it yesterday. So, I
So
haven't
food
finished it
allergies go back to your actual genes themselves.
yet. Yeah, sometimes, not all of them. Some of them can
Okay.
just be like a gut biome.
Yeah.
Some of them can be like actually like, I'm Indian.
Okay.
We digest, grain a lot better than, European descent. Like it kind of just depends. Like a lot of Latin Americans are lactose intolerant, and so are Asians have a lot of issues with alcohol. So like there's different things that in your ancestry that will actually affect you but it's also understanding your ancestry and understanding your body as a specific, which I don't think enough people do.
Yeah. So I wonder what's making some of these genes start to express themselves then.
Yeah. And it can be a lot of environmental factors. It's kind of wild because, you know, you have certain DNA expressions that are like, you know, maybe genetic, but you don't get them. Like there's so many history of like diseases that are passed down from family member to family member that like maybe one person doesn't get. It's kind of wild, but it's also a lot of how you take care of yourself.
Makes sense.
Don't just drink tequila and wine. Full circle.
Don't just go to the office, drink caffeine, and walk around all day and then go home. Garrett.
No.
Garrett Atkins.
I'm not gonna say anything.
I'm unhealthy.
Before we move on, it's time for your personal favorite segment. You get to do the ad read.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Hey there, St. Louis podcast listeners. We've got some exciting news from our sponsor, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Lee. Mark Lee of Farmers Insurance is recruiting agency owners here in St. Louis.
That's right, Garrett, and everyone knows what Farmers Insurance is, and if they don't, they will now.
Yes, it's kind of a household name. That said, as many of you know, a large part of our audience is made up of badass business owners, entrepreneurs, and top producing sales professionals with an open mind like yourself. Farmers Insurance is currently searching for driven individuals who aspire to own their own business or already own their own business and want to add another income stream to join the Farmers Insurance brand and own their own insurance agency.
This is a stellar opportunity to build your own insurance agency from scratch, take over an existing agency, or if you're just a slow roller, we know you the guys out there and ladies, get paid to train under an existing successful agency owner before starting your own.
Holy shit, Eric. That means that whether you have experience as a business owner or you've never heard the word business before in your life, there's a pathway to owning your own business through Farmers Insurance Agency led by Mark Lee.
That's right. You can become a Farmers Insurance business owner even if you've been homeless in the past, just like you.
Yeah, thanks.
If you've ever dreamt of being your own boss, building a team under a reputable brand, and making a difference in your community by offering top-tier auto, home, and commercial insurance to consumers and businesses in your area, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the godlike man himself, Mark Lee, has the perfect opportunity for you.
Visit insurancecareerstl.com to speak with Mark Lee, the district manager of Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, to become a Farmers Insurance agency owner today.
Did you hear that, St. Louis? Go visit insurancecareerstl.com. Insurancecareerstl.com. That is INSURANCE. Career, CAREERSTL.com.
To become a business owner today, again, one more time, visit insurancecareerstl, as in St. Louis.com today, right now, this second, or reach out to us at stlouispodcast.com and we'll introduce you to Mark Lee ourselves. And I promise he won't spell out insurance and career to you.
Now back to the show. And we're back at it. All right, what were you just talking about? I forget.
I did too.
You just talked about lactose intolerance.
That's
and
right. That's right. We went on a tangent on health and food. So let's go back to people scared to go downtown.
Ooh.
Let's unpack this.
Yeah.
So we have a client, and something we do for all of our clients is take photos of their business.
Yeah.
That way, you know, you go on Google, a lot of them, it's just the fucking Google van driving by and it looks like shit. So we go there and get good photos of like the building and things like that.
As you should.
And recently, you know, we had a photographer that said she doesn't go downtown due to safety.
Oh.
That was it.
I get it. I also am a city girl.
This is Central West End.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I lived downtown for almost 9 years. I've only just moved over to the county now, and that's just because I like a little bit more peace in my days. I mean, it's a hard question to answer and talk about because, yeah, there are a lot of safety issues.
Yep.
And I think it's becoming increasingly more of an issue. Just recently this weekend, a 17-year-old injured 10 people at a party. And you never know where it's going to pop up or happen. I think there was just, you know, and it's not just here, but St. Louis has a big reputation. I personally have never really felt unsafe.
Yeah.
Unless I'm at like a gas station or something. Gas stations are, I've heard of, people running off with cars. So
Don't go to the Shell at Wash Ave and Tucker.
don't do it. Gas stations, the only time I'll feel a little bit, but broad daylight, lock the car, keys on you, just smart things. Like you're not gonna just like leave the door wide open and just be like, here's my car.
Yeah.
But I think it's also just using discretion, not being alone, things like that. I will say I have felt a shift over the last few years. Downtown used to be so vibrant. And I think when sports are not happening, people are not downtown.
Correct.
Real quick before you guys move on, can I ask you why you mentioned that Shell gas station down there?
Because Garrett and I used to live down there off Wash Ave for a couple years, and there was a shooting literally right behind our building. A couple feet from us. It was kind of sketch, but also we were like 23 and we didn't give a shit. We were like, this is sick. Who cares?
The reason I wanted to bring it up is another podcast that we have come in here. That gas station actually has ties to like sexual trafficking and
100%.
Like abuse. There's a reason why it's so sketcy. I'm surprised.
That's the gas station where the dude was. The dude was shot just right outside there.
Yes,
a couple months ago.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know this, but St. Lucie is a really big sex trafficking hub because I used to work. One of my clients was a nonprofit that hired women who had been sex trafficked, gave them careers. So it was a for-profit, I guess. But since we've got multiple highways and interstates going through, that's where a huge hub. So that's obviously something to be careful of. But I think anywhere you go in the world,
how do you be careful of that?
I don't know. I'm just one of those people. Like anywhere you go in the world, like use common sense.
Yeah.
I know that doesn't get rid of every danger there is, but like obviously walking
I just feel
around.
like people aren't aware. They're not even like look up from your phone.
No,
and, like, be aware of your surroundings.
You're walking like this.
Yeah.
Don't walk alone at 4:30 in the morning. Check the license plate on your Uber. Make sure that your friends know where you are. I share my location with like 50 people. I'm like, I really don't care if you know where I am.
Yep.
Like my friends and I have like texts that we'll send each other in our group chat saying like, hey, I'm going to be alone doing this. Can someone just check up on me in a few minutes? Like having your tribe around and not walking the streets at 4 a.m. I know a lot happens other than that. There's things that can't be avoided, like break-ins, things like that. But where you can be safe, be safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I was a lot more reckless earlier on in life, but now I'm like, okay, I have a lot to live for.
That's
my dog
right.
needs me.
Well, and that app needs to be launched.
Yeah, you guys need to know where happy hours are.
Yeah, we got a lot of small businesses to help.
Yeah.
If you want to mention it real quick, right after the shooting, I think it was the mayor and someone else came out and said they need to have stricter gun laws and to ban guns in like 18 and younger hands. I don't know if you want to touch on that.
Let's get into gun laws. So we need stricter gun laws. Like, is anyone really opposed to that?
No.
No.
Like, I don't know if you should be able just to go into a store, buy a gun, and walk out in 10 minutes.
Where I don't understand this is happening is like, yeah, I think most people agree we need stricter gun laws. Who is saying we don't? Like,
I don't know.
And that's what I don't
The
understand
NRA.
sometimes.
But see, a popular misconception is I've bought 2 guns and I've done nothing wrong, and it took weeks for me to get that background check come back. You cannot go anywhere and just buy a gun. It takes time.
You can at gun festivals. You can buy. You
So
can sell those 2 guns to absolutely whoever you want, Matt. By the way,
I
are you
can.
selling a gun? I'll buy it from you. So.
I've never gone to a back alley and bought
Right.
a gun from a trunk. I'll say that. Right?
I mean, but do you think that like with the 18 and under that's really gonna like
No.
affect anything? I really don't think it's going to affect anything. Like we've seen time and time again with school shootings, it's not their gun, it's their family's gun, things like that. Like I think maybe you need to have a safe or something. Like there needs to be more policy. And I think people need to give a shit more because there's been more mass shootings this year than there are days.
It's got to be. I think it all comes back to at least one of the root causes is mental health. But not only that, it's looking at. So I forget what podcast I was listening to. They brought up a good point. They were looking at when they legalized making pharmaceutical ads legal.
Yeah.
So that was like 85. Everyone or somewhere around there, everyone started taking Prozac and antidepressants and antipsychotics, and then all of a sudden you have the one in Colorado, the first one. like the first major
Oh my God,
school
yeah.
shooting.
I can't remember what it was.
Columbine. And that was the late 80s, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Was it the 90s? I don't know. Time is a figment of our imagination.
Yeah. So one of the definite correlations, at least, is prescription.
99.
So can we just say
99,
how
okay.
fucked up it is that you can literally advertise prescription medicine? Does that make sense
It's
to you?
only us in New Zealand, in the whole world,
How does that make sense?
because we're bought.
No shit.
Well, going
No
off
shit.
what you were saying with
The largest advertisers of the main news channels are pharmaceutical companies. I believe
Right.
they make up 60% of ad spend.
And
So they can't make it go away. They're not going to be like, hey, no more of these ads. Everyone's going to be like, whoa, where'd all my fucking money go?
who's literally I'm thinking about someone at home. One, I don't watch ads anymore. I'm just skipping over that shit. I'm paying an extra $3 so I
I
don't
got
have to
YouTube
watch.
Premium. Talk to me.
Yeah, I'm paying that extra money so I don't have to
Yeah,
watch ads.
same.
But who's like at home, Friday night chilling, like, I need that medication.
Enough people. Literally enough
That's what
people.
stresses
That's
me out.
insane. It's insane. It's like,
what's
oh,
Well, see, that's the issue, because originally you had people that went to doctors and they got prescribed things like normal people, but now you have, oh man, I don't feel well today, I might be depressed, and then they start buying medicine that they don't need, and
well,
then
doctors
you have somebody,
overprescribe too.
well, then,
Oh,
yeah,
They get paid by pharmaceutical companies.
which
Doctors
is
do.
also
How
so
the-
fucked
How is
up.
that legal? I don't understand.
I don't understand. Like, if
doesn't
we
make
were to
sense.
do like insider trading or something like that, to have any extra information or anything like that, that's a huge issue. But nah, these companies can just go to doctors and be like, hey, I'm going to write you extra money
Yeah.
if you prescribe this to enough people. Like, obviously, those are not exactly equivalent, but like there should be regulation around
They're
that.
salespeople.
The amount of Adderall that little kids are put on, Adderall is literally a methamphetamine. I understand that there's people that need medication. I'm not against medication, but like really the inability to focus. How about we adjust the way that we're teaching kids so that we cater to more than one learning type before putting them on medication that could cause depression later in life?
I have ADHD.
I
and
do
I was
too.
prescribed in kindergarten.
Me too.
Or first grade. I was put on Strattera.
I was on
Which was-
Vyvanse 40 milligrams a day. I weigh like 100
When?
pounds. For like majority of middle
You were
school.
taking
to-
40 mils of Vyvanse
Yeah,
when you were
bro.
like 100 pounds?
Yeah,
What the
and
fuck?
like nobody thought to
That's
question.
not okay.
No one thought to question it, and I'm like, it caused so many issues for me because it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I'm on no medication now. I regulate myself really well because I've learned and worked with coaches to find out the best working strategies for me. Like maybe if we just took the time to care more about people, about our education systems, and cater to like more learning styles,
Yeah.
we wouldn't need to be doing that. But then Big Pharma wouldn't win.
Yeah. Well, also I believe it's still the case where teachers will push their parents, be like, your kid, he's kind of a little wild. How about you get him on some medicine to make my job easier?
How about we let kids be kids and get their energy out? Like I saw this
That make
video
a lot of sense.
on TikTok, and it's like this woman who does gentle parenting, and like it's just really cool to me to see like how she parents her kids.
What is gentle parenting?
It's a little bit more like it's not they let their kids do whatever, but they don't raise their voice. They explain things more clearly. There's still consequences to actions, but like her like 3-year-olds are like cooking and cleaning and doing stuff, and they mess up, but like they're not punished. Like I think one of the kids had a lot of energy, and she just let him go run around for a minute, and she goes, "Do you feel like you're safe enough to do this now?" He goes, "Yeah."
Yep.
Like, wow, maybe if we just let kids be kids, I can't sit still for 8 hours a day.
No.
I can't do it. How am I expecting a 5-year-old to do that and actually retain anything? Also, you can't retain knowledge that way.
Yep.
That's just not one of the healthiest ways to do it.
Well, one of the things for ADD that you check off as a symptom is, do you get out of your desk a lot? Who doesn't as a child? They were just trying. They were like, it's so
I
dumb.
literally take
I stopped taking stuff as well. I haven't taken anything
yeah,
in years.
because it also
not
like
good for you.
we don't understand the long-term effects of it.
We know it's not good. It increases your heart rate.
It's not
which
good.
Increasing your heart rate a couple beats a minute, like I forget, it's like a couple years literally off your life.
Oh. Okay, well, that's
Yeah.
going to be
So if
oh
you're-
no, I didn't know that.
So yeah, so it's all depending on like average heart rate and like if your like baseline is 70, but Adderall takes it to 80, so it's an increase of 10.
Yeah.
If there's a percentage, I forget what the percentage is, but every percentage is like is like a year off your life or something. It's insane.
Horrible. That's horrible.
Yeah.
I haven't done a lot of research into it, but I'd be interested to see our Adderall prescriptions versus, other countries that actually are leading in, education. I understand we have great colleges here, but really I think our education system has failed us in a lot of ways. It's failed majority. We have like one of the highest illiteracy rates in a first world country.
I don't even know how. I took 12 years of English.
Yeah. Yeah. But like there's still people who don't read at that level.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people drop out. I think if I were to ever run for politics, that would be like one of my biggest platforms.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you educate everyone, and I'm all for, one of the big things I believe in is that not everyone needs to go into college and get into debt.
100%.
I think that's like a big push that we've had in recent years. That doesn't work for everybody. Not everyone's meant to go down those business lines. And I think that there's nothing wrong with doing trade school. I think we need more people in that field, and that's a good, stable career as well.
We work with a bunch of plumbers, a bunch of tradespeople that make way more money than almost all of my friends that have that go to an office.
Yeah.
And guess what? They don't have to sit at a desk all day.
It's not for everybody. If it's what you're passionate about, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not, and I'm really sorry to say it, if you're one of these people, but a philosophy degree is not going to cut it for the bills.
Waste of money.
Yeah.
Where's the return on investment on that?
Exactly. I'm big on that.
I wish someone would have told me that before I went to college. Return on investment. That's all that matters. Is this degree going to put you in a better, what are the percentages? I got a health science degree because I wanted to switch to business.
The system wouldn't be where it
I
is.
wouldn't have went to school.
You wouldn't have
percentage 0 for health science. This is worthless as money.
Well, I was going to school to be a physical therapist because my whole mom's side are all therapists, and I was like, oh yeah, I don't know what I want to do. This is cool. Yeah, imagine me being a physical therapist.
Oh God.
I would care, but I'd be flaming these people as I'm working with them and shit. I don't know.
But that's the thing. I never took a single financial literacy course in high school or anything. I never took a business course before college.
You didn't take personal finance?
That wasn't all. I went to a private school. It wasn't offered.
We balanced a checkbook. That was in.
I didn't even do that.
I didn't
You know
even.
what we did? We watched Shark Tank every single day.
You're joking. Damn.
Damn it! I knew I needed
The U.S.
that blanket
education
that I could
system.
throw over
The
my
U.S.
head.
education system.
Yeah.
No, I was pre-med. Look at me right now talking about the healthcare system.
Yeah.
It was not going to work out. I don't like to follow rules. Maybe if I had taken a finance class, any of these courses before I was 18 or 19 years old, I would have known what I wanted to do sooner in life. But that wasn't an option. I think we're getting better about that and exposing people. But
high schoolers need to be going into workplaces and at least shadowing.
Yeah.
And looking
But
and talking.
that would be too easy.
Yeah.
But then there's not going to be college debt.
Yeah.
And the powers that be are not going to come out on top.
Well, we just talked about, you said, Matt, right? Forbearance is being lifted on student loan debt.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm saying they're still arguing
All
about
right,
it. And that's the reason
Yeah.
the debt ceiling isn't going through is because they're gatekeeping it with the student loan crap.
Oh, so we're still sitting on this?
Look, I don't think they
Yes.
Really?
yet.
No, I think it's a big problem.
I don't see how solving a debt crisis is just increasing the amount of debt we can have. It's like, listen, we'll figure this out next year. All right, we need to raise it again. When does it end?
How much in debt are we as a country?
It's like
Trillions.
It's over 100 trillion. Hundreds of
trillions,
trillions, I think. U.S. government debt.
Isn't it like 300 trillion or something like that? It's really high.
There used to be, USDebtClock.org. I mean, literally, it's just running. Okay. So
Oh my God, it's literally just going up.
Is that 32 trillion?
32 trillion.
That is insane.
And it's going up. Do you think we can watch it get to 33?
That would take forever.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Maybe by the end of this,
They
it'll be
just
up
need
there.
to sign another bill to send another $1 billion to Ukraine. We'll take that up.
Dear God. Oh man. I mean, and it's just crazy to me. I don't get it sometimes, but I think too much stuff is privatized and not enough stuff is standardized.
Yep.
It's failing us.
So talking about schools, did you see this whole Glendale school meeting fight the Pride Month thing last week?
No, I didn't.
Did you
I
see
didn't.
this?
No, I didn't.
I don't know. Let me just go to the CNN story, which is probably half bullshit. But so they were talking about LGBTQ policies inside a California school, and it broke out where 3 people were apparently arrested, parents on both sides. So dozens of parents, students, and members weighed in. So essentially, what's happening right now is in this school district, what I read is they are teaching like elementary schoolers about trans and like things like this.
Yeah.
And these parents are fucking sick of stuff that they think should just be taught either by themselves, you know, as a family, or should wait to a point where it actually makes sense.
One point, because I think I see both sides. So we're teaching kids about that, but not about their own bodies. So we've defunded places like Planned Parenthood and women's education and all of that. We're literally like kids, if you look at like the understanding that people have of their own bodies or the opposite gender's bodies, it's non-existent.
Correct.
And now we're getting in fights about this crap. Like, I'm sorry, it just does not make sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense.
I think it's okay to introduce the topics, but I think we need a standardized sexual education program across the entire country, whether you're private or public.
That makes sense.
And, you know, I think it needs to be introduced from a young age up. Like the DARE program. I don't know if you guys went through DARE.
Yeah, I did. 5th grade.
DARE was, why are we teaching 5th graders that shit? Like,
I don't know. I didn't remember. They were like teaching us about cocaine in 5th grade. I was like, what the
literally,
fuck is
I'm like,
this stuff?
like, what is this? And like, instead of, you know, maybe introducing people to their bodies, like, I just think.
So in private school, did they have like sexual education?
No, we had to watch an abortion live.
You watched an abortion?
We watched an abortion. I actually, so like my parents are from India.
Jesus.
So like they, you know, we didn't talk about sex.
Yeah.
So I get into like high school and I'm in a private school, a Catholic school. And everyone's pro-life and I thought that was normal. I'm like, I'm pro-life.
Yep.
I'm not pro. I mean, I'm pro-choice. I'm absolutely pro-choice. Because unless you're going to take care of that kid after it's born.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a whole different topic.
Yep.
But like they literally made us watch an abortion and go to pro-life marches. Like that was
that's like the all Catholic schools.
We had a trip. Like you could go to the
you
pro.
went to the pro-life march.
Yeah, and I'm like bumbling around like I don't know what's going on because I wasn't introduced to my options.
It's the perfect indoctrination.
Yeah.
It's all brain warp.
I don't think it was until about 19 that I really started to dive into stuff myself. But how many people just take things at face value?
Yeah.
And we really fail people by not showing them what their options are.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest issue.
100%. There's actually, it's funny you bring up, well, funny, whatever, the abortion thing.
Yeah.
So I remember I grew up Catholic. I was confirmed. And I remember the one day, I don't know when we were voting on this. I want to say I was like 8 or 9 years old. They rolled those old TVs out, right? You know, the old 4 TVs that pointed down all the hallways that went to the front of the church. And they had about a 15-minute video on why to vote against abortion. And even me as like a 9-year-old, I'm like, you don't fucking tell me what to do. I'm like, I don't even know what any of this means, but all I know is I don't like it. And I don't like this vibe I'm getting right now. And I tell this story I've told this story forever.
Propaganda.
And I'm like, that is literally the point where I was like, no.
Propaganda.
Yeah. I was like, this doesn't work for me.
It doesn't. And that's where I think we fail everyone. I mean, that's our education system's just fucked.
Yep.
Like you need to understand how your body works. That was literally the only form of sex ed we received. That's it. Just don't have sex.
I think we went over basic anatomy. Our PE teacher did it. So we went over basic anatomy. Yeah, we went over basic anatomy, and then I think he probably put a condom on a banana. You know, something like. And that
we
was
didn't even get that. We didn't even get that. Like.
Well, no, that's because the Catholic Church teaches abstinence, which is just don't
which
do
we
it.
were taught.
Yeah.
Which is what we were taught.
Yeah. Don't do it. That works.
Yeah.
What are you gonna? Most people are like, don't do it. It's like, why not? I'm gonna go do that now.
It's just like it. I think it's also just. Didn't the Catholic Church change that?
Probably.
No, I thought there was something that came out. If I'm being quite
Now they're on
honest,
the
I
safe
don't.
sex train. They're like, listen,
Yeah.
all right.
They're still big on, don't have sex until you're married, love God, give him all your money, all that. That's not
Love God,
changing.
give him all your money. So are you religious still?
No.
Okay.
I am what I like to call, I believe in a higher power.
Sure.
I don't believe in religion.
Sure.
I think religion has been passed down by people too
Mm-hmm.
much, and too much has been changed. And I have a very hard time believing in that. Yeah, that's before I offend a lot of people.
Sure.
Yeah, just like before I offend a lot of people, I think it's cool if that's what people want to believe, but I think giving money to institutions rather than just investing them right back in my community,
Mm-hmm.
which I do a lot of, I do a lot of outreach, and do my part. I would rather, in a good conscience, do that than go somewhere that doesn't align with my values and my morals.
Sure.
Because I can't put my hand on my heart and say I 100% believe in any single religion 100%. If I can't give that commitment, then I don't believe I should be a part of that community.
Yeah. That's pretty much the same thing with me. The institution aspect, and I think that's, if I didn't grow up Catholic, I'd probably be more open, to be honest. And going back to PTSD of religion, yeah, probably.
And it's funny for me because my parents are Hindu. I had a Muslim nanny growing up. I went to a Jewish elementary school, a Catholic high school. And then in college, I took a lot of Buddhism courses. So I feel like I've been very exposed to a lot of things. And I think each one has its own perks and things like that and great teachings. But to sit down and be like, this is one I'm going to follow.
Yeah.
Didn't people believe in Greek mythology at one point, as an actual religion? Things change, times change.
I'd respect someone way more if they said, I believe in Greek mythology. I'd be like, that's actually cool as hell, though.
It's still around.
I
People
know.
still, yeah.
That's actually cool, though.
Isn't there a spaghetti monster religion?
Oh my God.
Spaghetti monster?
Yeah,
religion?
there's a thing. There's an entire religion, and the god is a spaghetti monster. I'm like,
That's.
Yeah, she's not lying. That is.
It's
something.
I'd rather have the Cookie Monster, but
you can start that. That's
Cookie Monster
that's
religion.
That's
you
an
have
option.
to bring in cookies every Sunday.
Right. Right. And it's just it just, you could literally just start a cult anytime you wanted, and you could be the god.
The Cookie Monster cult, dude.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, before we get out of here,
Yes.
anything you'd like to tell the audience? Where to go? Call to action? What do you got?
Yeah. First off, follow the STL Guide
Mhm.
on Instagram. 2, support local businesses. And 3, don't be an asshole.
There we go. I love it.
Pastafarianism, by the way, is the
There
word
we
you were
go.
looking for. And it is literally, they believe in a giant spaghetti monster, and it was created so one person could wear a hat in class to piss off his teachers, is the rumor.
All right. Well, with that said, that's all the time we have for today. However, the St. Louis podcast will be back next week at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time with a new episode, new guest, and potentially Garrett. Let's put them on a, the Pokemon where they have the outcasted with the question mark. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching live or later and we said something wrong, said something you hate, or said something you want to hear more about, you can visit us at thestlouispodcast.com. Leave us a message or feel free to DM Katie with anything you didn't like. I know she had some hot takes today. Finally, this episode was recorded at Half Coast Studios in St. Louis, Missouri. If you're looking to start a podcast or take your current podcast to the next level, whether you're local here to St. Louis or anywhere else, reach out to them, at halfcoaststudios.com. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today and a pleasure hosting this podcast for the people of St. Louis. We'll see you again next Friday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you.
Hey there, St. Louis podcast listeners. We've got some exciting news from our sponsor, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Lee. Mark Lee of Farmers Insurance is recruiting agency owners here in St. Louis.
That's right, Garrett, and everyone knows what Farmers Insurance is, and if they don't, they will now.
Yes, it's kind of a household name. That said, as many of you know, a large part of our audience is made up of badass business owners, entrepreneurs, and top producing sales professionals with an open mind like yourself. Farmers Insurance is currently searching for driven individuals who aspire to own their own business or already own their own business and want to add another income stream to join the Farmers Insurance brand and own their own Insurance Agency.
This is a stellar opportunity to build your own insurance agency from scratch, take over an existing agency, or if you're just a slow roller, we know you, the guys out there and ladies, get paid to train under an existing successful agency owner before starting your own.
Holy shit, Eric. That means that whether you have experience as a business owner or you've never heard the word business before in your life, there's a pathway to owning your own business through Farmers Insurance Agency led by Mark Lee.
That's right. You can become a Farmers Insurance business owner even if you've been homeless in the past, just like you.
Yeah, thanks.
If you've ever dreamt of being your own boss, building a team under a reputable brand, and making a difference in your community by offering top-tier auto, home, and commercial insurance to consumers and businesses in your area, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the godlike man himself, Mark Lee, has the perfect opportunity for you.
Visit insurancecareerstl.com to speak with Mark Lee, the district manager of Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, to become a Farmers Insurance agency owner today.
Did you hear that, St. Louis? Go visit insurancecareerstl.com. Insurancecareerstl.com. That is INSURANCE, career, CAREERSTL.com.
To become a business owner today, again, one more time, visit insurancecareerstl, as in St. Louis.com today. Right now, this second, or reach out to us at stlouispodcast.com and we'll introduce you to Mark Lee ourselves. And I promise he won't spell out insurance and career to you.